it's okay to fail. Failure is a part of life. The key about failure is as long as you understand where you've gone wrong and why you failed, and you learn from that experience and you pick yourself up and you move on, that's absolutely key. So my name's Nazreen Visram. I'm the head of charities at Barclays, and I'll explain a bit more about what that role entails. But I've been at Barclays now for 15 years. Just completed my 15-year anniversary, and I've had a number of roles throughout Barclays, starting off as a relationship director, which essentially involved looking after sort of retail clients, so some of the high street brands you will be aware of, people like Versace, Zara, Pandora. So yeah, basically I shopped for a living for sort of 9 years of my career, I think, but really enjoyed looking after a portfolio of clients, providing banking services to them, supporting them with their business strategy, lending them money and helping them to kind of achieve their business goals. So basically I did a number of jobs, working for an American telecoms company. I started out doing 500 cold calls a day. Selling kind of publishing advertising space, which you can imagine is real character building. So I did that, and then thankfully managed to escape that quite quickly, although again I learned so much and made so many great friends and actually had some really good mentors and peers around me, and then moved across to work for Natwest actually, and I worked in there, and I met somebody at a careers fair, really randomly. She said, "You'd be really good at banking." And I was like, "Well, I don't have any banking experience, so how on earth will I go into banking?" And she goes, "You've got the people skills, you just need to learn the technical skills." So got an interview with Natwest, got into Natwest, did some sort of private and premier kind of banking, so very personal level banking for a couple of years. And then I kind of just got an interest in business and corporates, and luckily got approached by Barclays at the time. Got an interview and got into Barclays, and kind of here I am 15 years on, still with Barclays, and have had a number of really great opportunities. And I've got to say, when I talk about the whole race and ethnic minority thing, obviously, we're going through the Black Lives Matter movement has ignited that. I mean, it's never really gone away, really. Realistically, this has never gone away. So one of the other things I do at Barclays is I co-chair our Embrace network, which is our multicultural diversity network, which focuses on ethnicity, race and faith in the workplace. And so it's really good to see the conversations that are happening around race at work, because Barclays has a challenge. We do not have particularly black representation at senior level, and we really need to understand the barriers and create a more level playing field for everyone. And I can, honestly say, as an Asian woman in the banking world, it is hard. I think people judge you before you kind of even open your mouth or walk through the door, really. I've always felt I've had to work that little bit harder to prove myself. But, I guess, and I'm hoping, by doing these roles and sharing my story and being the co-chair of Embrace, I really hope that I can just make the pathway a little bit easier for particularly my junior colleagues and, the next generation who are sort of coming through the ranks, really. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell, really. Finding something you love, I think it's just about trying different experiences. Now, at the moment, obviously, work experience is really hard, but there's lots of things you can do virtually. So that, a lot of companies are doing virtual internships. We've just got an intern in my team who's virtual. He's come on board, and we're making that work for him. There's a lot of virtual work experience opportunities around. I would say check out the Barclays Life Skills program. That is absolutely brilliant, and it does a lot of virtual kind of world of work, so you can experience different industries and what it looks like to work in those different things. Think about what you like. So I always do that, and it sounds so simplistic around if you're looking for your next career. I mean, I've had such a diverse career at Barclays, from banking to CSR to charities. I mean, there's probably a little bit of a link there, but generally that's not a normal career route in Barclays. But when I think about what I love, I write it down. So I love people. So I'm a real people person. I love winning new business. I'm a real kind of sales-driven person as well. I love managing people. So I love leadership. I love helping people to thrive. At 17, 18-year-old, think about what you enjoy doing. Do you enjoy kind of technology? Do you enjoy writing? Are you more on the kind of art skills or the science skills? You may be both, actually, because you're still developing those skills. Start thinking about what you like as an individual, what you get the most out of through your school subjects, through extracurricular. It could be sport, for example, it could be music, whatever it is. And start mapping out and start doing some research around what those careers might look like. So where could you have a career that you enjoy, particularly writing, for example? Is it journalism? Is it a job in communications? Is it, and imagine communication covers all industries. So I would say my advice is start thinking about what you actually really enjoy, write it down and start mapping some of those careers that kind of work with those skill sets. And then start thinking about the skill sets you want to develop. So it could be that you're brilliant at writing, but you're not so brilliant at presenting, for example. You're not brilliant at communicating, sort of standing up in front of people, which is something I still fear and have to develop all the time. So think about where you can get opportunities to do that. Public sector team at Barclays, which is what I'm part of. So within the public sector team, we have charities, education, social housing, and local and central government. So we basically look after clients in all those segments or industries. We're a team of around 90 people, so it's a pretty big team, and we are UK-wide. We currently have a number of graduates in our teams at the moment. So I have a graduate who's supporting me on the Charities strategy, and he's helping me out to kind of think about post-COVID, helping me with sort of developing our strategy for the next couple of years, supporting our bankers on specific deals, that type of thing. So he's getting a real diverse. What we try to do with all our graduates is get them in, the most experience we can when they come into our team. And typically how it works at Barclays, when you join as a graduate, you have a number of rotations. So you will maybe start in the marketing team, then you may come across to the kind of client-facing team, and then you may go across to the product team. So the whole idea behind that is that you're getting a real diverse range of experience, and you're probably, discovering where you would like your career to go and what aspects of banking that you really like or don't like. So that's the beauty behind the graduate programme. I think, just looking back on, my younger self and, what I kind of tell young people now when I'm talking to them. So I think there's a famous quote that I like by Oscar Wilde, and it says, "Be yourself because everybody is already taken." And being authentic authenticity is really fundamental in life. And I think whether that's at school or in the workplace, because being yourself is important. People buy into that. People understand people can see when you're not being yourself. So being authentic is really key. I think the other thing is it's okay to fail. Failure is a part of life. The key about failure is as long as you understand where you've gone wrong and why you failed, and you learn from that experience and you pick yourself up and you move on, that's absolutely key. So failure is okay. And again, there's a brilliant quote by Michael Jordan around failure and how he failed 1,000 times, but he managed to learn and get he's one of the best basketball players in the world we've ever seen. So there's so much inspiration around us, and I always say tap into that. I've mentioned social media and virtual networks. Just be mindful and cognizant of how you're presenting yourself on social media, and just ensure that you tap into your virtual network and you're using platforms like LinkedIn, for example, that are really useful in terms of developing that network, or whether you're using Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I don't know, there's so many different ones. Just be mindful about how you're presenting yourself. And I guess work hard, because nobody in this world, wherever they got to, didn't do that with hard work. Whether you're, if you're, I'm a big Arsenal fan, by the way, so whether you're kind of Thierry Henry or David Beckham or whatever, they work hard to where they got to and achieve what they did in the sporting world. Similar to all your kind of pop stars and film stars, none of them suddenly kind of turned up and got there and were made famous. So whilst we love and we aspire to be these people around us, I think good work, solid work ethic will stand you in good stead wherever you end up and whatever you choose to do.